President Trump's defense of Judge Kavanaugh coming as a third accuser has been trotted out by the desperate Dems in the last minutes. We also are hearing of a fourth accuser who has put forward an anonymous claim against Judge Kavanaugh. And because it is an anonymous complaint, I've decided that we're not going to deal with the particulars of the accusation until it becomes something more than an anonymous complaint, and certainly with at least as much evidence and corroboration and evidence as has been put forward by the three accusers to this point, which is in fact zero. Tomorrow, both Judge Kavanaugh and his accuser, Christine Blasey Ford, will appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Earlier, I talked with the counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, about what to expect from tomorrow's hearing.
I expect that both Ford and Kavanaugh will have their say. We've probably already heard from each of them what we're going to hear tomorrow under oath. And let's just remember that most of the senators who are going into this hearing have already made up their mind about Judge Kavanaugh, especially on the Democratic side. They made very clear from the get-go they weren't going to vote for any judicial nominee that President Trump put forward. And if you don't believe that, look at the way they behaved when the very qualified Neil Gorsuch was up for confirmation, the 26 or 28 circuit court judges that many of them oppose. So the fix was already in terms of their vote. They say they're searching for the truth, but what they're really doing is what President Trump said today they're doing, smearing a good man. We're no longer talking about his impeccable judicial qualifications, his character and integrity. And their standard is to make sure they don't give up the swing vote in the United States Supreme Court. So they should be honest about what this really is. They're upset about Merrick Garland not getting confirmed. They're upset about losing the swing vote at the Supreme Court, and they're hiding behind
what you said, Kellyanne.
Nonsense.
This is a smear job. This is the politics of personal destruction. And the president, to his great credit, said it exactly that way.
Yes.
And you're saying it. And the idea that there is some hearing that's going to be revelatory is pure hogwash.
But also, Lou, I want to say something else. Let's go back to the beginning here. The idea that this man, Judge Kavanaugh, has undergone 6 thorough FBI vets in his career, including just this past summer in pursuit of this Supreme Court nomination, and none of this was ever revealed. Date rape in the suburbs, nobody ever said anything at the time. There was not a culture in the mid-1980s protecting people around date rape. And this woman, at least the third accuser today, she was an adult, going to 10 parties over 2 years, witnessing this allegedly and saying nothing about it and going back to the next party. So all of that has become relevant because people are not being honest about why they want to stop Judge Kavanaugh from taking that seat. But you know what?
Three people come forward.
Yes.
3 people without any of the most important evidentiary issues in front. None of it corroborated. No evidence whatsoever. Not even the most basic particulars in nearly all cases.
Well, this would be the first man I've ever heard of who did these things allegedly when he was a teenager and then stopped when he became a powerful male adult. Yeah. And the second highest court with female law clerks.
Until I hear some corroboration, some evidence, this is pure speculation, and I think it plays the game of the left. And the left, by the way, in my opinion, Kellyanne, and I'd like your view on this, is an extraordinarily terrific political analyst, pollster, and strategist. The Democrats, the far left in this country, the radical left, which may be the party of the Democrats now, have just handed the Republicans issues to drive through to November 6th that should result in victories for the Republicans in the Senate and the House. What do you think?
There's a very good argument. I looked at some public polling today, Lou, suggesting that the Republican base voter is much more motivated now than they were even a couple of months ago. For many of the members who aren't articulating why the tax cuts or the deregulation or peace around the globe is a good thing to message on, they certainly have something here because the left has totally politicized a non-politician. You've had a bunch of politicians politicizing a Supreme Court process about a non-politician, Brett Kavanaugh. And look, whether it's I'm Spartacus, I'm raising money for 2020, it's a hit job. It's a drive-by.
This is the politics of destruction.
No, it
Pure
is.
and simple.
But personal destruction. Remember, there's a man sitting here. He
Right.
has a wife. He has 2 young
Kelly.
daughters. And if those folks can look themselves in the eye and think that they have been honest and truthful about this
Kelly,
man,
they're not worried about
in
being
so
honest.
doing-
They're not
No,
worried
not.
about being truthful. Let's not even pretend
That's
it.
right. I like the Biden clip, by the way. Did you see the Biden clip from 1991?
I sure
when he
did.
said,
1991.
The FBI
You got
never
it.
makes conclusions. It's
Kellyanne,
perfect.
I don't
Everybody
want to
should pull
review
it.
a Biden clip with you at any time for any reason. It just isn't. It isn't worth
How
the
about if he
pain.
runs for president unsuccessfully for the 3rd time? Can we do it then?
Kellyanne
Deal.
Conway, I won't even consider the possibility. Thanks so much. Great to have you
You
with us.
got it, Lou. Thank you.